Welcome. Let me introduce you. You are a very well-known figure in the world of homeopathic research in India and abroad. To just let our viewers a little small recap of his achievements, Professor Dr. Rajendran is a very well-known international acclaimed clinician, teacher, and a scientist. He holds the prestige of being among the first Ph.D. scholars of homeopathy from India. He's a global authority on homeopathy with clinical expertise spanning over 30 years, and he is known for his path-breaking books, including New Lights, The Nucleus, Nanodynamics, which is also my personal favorite, which is a pioneering research work in nanotechnology related to homeopathic ultra dilutions and high potencies, and Ray of Civilization, which is a treatise on philosophy, culture, genetics, and homeopathy, spirituality as well. So, this is Dr. Rajendran for you. I will not hold him because we are all eager to listen to him. But he has been recently also interviewed by Mr. T.Y. Bollinger on Truth About Cancer series, which has received worldwide acclaim. So, over to Dr. Rajendran.
Thank you, Dr. Sujata. Thank you so much. And respected panelists and dear colleagues who are present today for the conference, this is indeed a great privilege for being with you all in this hard time of our life. And let us go to our presentation today. I'm going to, first 15 slides are basically takeaway slides for you, because in most of the homeopathic settings, generally there is a perception that in homeopathy there is no much research happening, and it is only due to the clinical result which is supporting homeopathy all the time. Actually, it is not true. Initial slides I am going to show you a list of research papers published in higher end journals, and these papers are take home for all of you. And I request, like we used to tell the students all the time, go back to home, refer these papers, download these papers, and read them conveniently. When you read these papers, around 23 papers I have listed, around 10 of them are nanotechnology related, and the remaining is basically genetics related studies happened in the last 1 decade. And these papers are very critical to understand the depth and the strength of homeopathy, which we are not aware much of the time. Without reading, without digesting, we may not be able to exactly understand what exactly we are doing. We homeopaths are doing a science which is far beyond the general perception of the science. That's not our mistake, because it was a science far advance of time. Papers which I have shown, the 8 papers and the initial papers which are of nanotechnology related research in the last 10 years, and the next papers which I am going to give you as a takeaway home are the research papers based on genetics. Majority of them are being done by Professor Kudabaksh in a long period of his homeopathic research. And his work in homeopathy is unparalleled, and it is the most important and most deeper work in genetics done by the great scientist Dr. Kudabaksh. He is going to speak to you later. And also work promoted by, further done by Dr. Kuttan and Preeti and Dr. Bellavite and Marzotto from Italy. So there are a set of researchers who did basic and fundamental research in homeopathy. Dr. Kudabaksh has published more than 130 papers on homeopathic research. But I am sorry to say that our academic setup has never promoted this research and nobody is reading it. So those who are students, those who are practitioners, my humble request is, please take it as an advantage and go through these papers, read them. So this is the HRTM and EDS which I used in my analysis for the last 10 years for many homeopathic drugs from the MG University, Kottayam. And this is a TEM grid which we use as the grid for use analyzing the transmission particles in the transmission electron microscope. This is a very, very small grid which is having 200 columns with 50 micron size. and it is made up of carbon base, and the columns are separated by wires of copper wires. So that is why when you come to the result of analysis, copper and carbon will more frequently be visible in this elementary composition of the particles. This is another electron microscope which I have used in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. That is called a field emission scanning electron microscope. And this field emission scanning microscope too I use for organic as well as organic materials, plant materials, and basically nosodes also. And this is the team of technical guys in the Indian Institute of Science who worked with me for many years. And this paper I wanted to tell you specifically, this is one of my latest paper published in as a debate article in journal Homeopathy. It is Homeopathy seen as personalized nanomedicine. This paper is a very critical paper to understand the relationship between nanoparticles in homeopathy and the epigenetics, which is Dr. Kudabek has proved as the hallmark of homeopathic drug action. And these are some of my work, which are nanodynamics is one of the work which is available in both English and German. And this is my latest work, which is going into the depth of the technical as well as the philosophical issues related to the medical world. It's not only related to homeopathy, but why the medical science is like this, what is the philosophy behind it, and how we can modify this system for further betterment. Let me show you few of the slides where my result are exhibited. This is an aurum metallicum, which many of you might have seen earlier presentation. This is the 6C potency of aurum metallicum, and you can see the aggregates of nanoparticles here with 0.3 to 20 nanometer size, and there are millions and millions of particles in a micro drop of homeopathic drug. And from the 6C, I'm going directly to CM just to show you the wide gap. In CM potency, you will find the particles which are entirely different and finer with agglomeration also. And you can see the particle size is, the larger particles are bigger than the lower particles in the 6C potency. And this is a Hypericum 30C. It is studied in FESM, field emission scanning electron microscope. And here you can see the 30C potency of Hypericum. The nanoparticles are here. And also CM potency of Hypericum homeopathic drug. And here also the lower particles are smaller in size, 16.39, whereas the bigger particles are 68, all within the nanometer scale, less than 100 nanometer. And this is analysis of alcohol sample in FESM, which is with no particles seen, as well as in HRTM, alcohol 30, potentized alcohol 30, and there is no evidence of any particles. So we are coming to a point that homeopathic drug contains the nanoparticles of the original drug materials in every concentration, whatever is the dilution. Why this is important? We are coming to another point. That is, our human structure, human body, the human body is living bodies, the biological system is managed in nanometer scale. Fundamentally, our systems are managed in nanometer scale. That means our DNA, our RNA, our enzymes, hormones, receptors, antigens, antibodies, everything is managed in nanometer scale. They are all nano devices. So nano devices are operating the human body. Therefore, for the treatment of the problems at the nano devices, you need medicine at nanoscale. This is what simply homeopathy is. So let us come deep into that point. What is our basis of existence? Our basis of existence is fundamentally the DNA coding which we receive from our parents at the time of the formation of zygote. The single cell which is formed in the uterus with the sperm and ovum, and that is the zygote, and which contains a DNA genetic mapping, a genetic code, and that is the basis of our existence. And from this only the further growth happens. From the pluripotent stem cells, we develop every organs and anatomical structures in our body, and the gene regulation control this development. Therefore, gene regulation is the basis of the human existence. Therefore, the biological existence from DNA to the gross organism is more apt than the current mechanistic model of medicine. And here I am coming to the other point where the genetics was well delineated by Professor Kudabaksh. With his permission, I am showing you 3 slides. He did a pioneering work in 2011 and it was presented in 2011, and he studied about the signaling pathways, cell cycle analysis, cytogenetical parameters, and immunohistology and immunofluorescence of following parameters. And what he found, the result of his analysis, in the signaling pathway there is upregulation of genes as well as downregulation of genes happened with homeopathic drug. And in the cell cycle analysis, there is increase of cell population at S and G2 phases. And when in the cecal core fed animals, especially mice, these were near normal. And cytogenetical parameters, the chromosomal aberration, DNA damage, etc. are notified if the animals were treated with carcinogen, whereas treated with the cecal core later was revealed that they are being better or normal. At these parameters, histology and immunofluorescence again, the cecal core fed animals suggested reduced expression of some proteins and thereby showing its anti-cancer potentials against skin papilloma. So he gave a beautiful conclusion in that paper. He said that orthodox chemotherapeutic drug generally combat by using direct DNA damage and thereby cell death, whereas ultra diluted homeopathic remedies appear to adopt molecular pathways by causing modifications in signaling cascades through interaction with the DNA, presumably by epigenetic modification. This is a beautiful conclusion of how homeopathic medicine works. I am very sure the same paragraph is equally applicable even in case of coronavirus, where the homeopathic drug act like DNA and it make a immunogenetic modulation, and we are very sure about that. But unfortunately, we are not allowed to do any research even today due to scientific prejudices. And this is a picture where Professor Kudabakshi has given me, and the modulating effect of cecal core 30. A normal animal, carcinogen treated, placebo treated, cecal core 30 treated. You can see the difference, it is really visible. So what is the problem? Conventional biomolecular medicine is what we are depending in the world by the major portion of humanity, because it is a life-saving approach in emergency situations. Everybody has to go for that. But it is a failed model in chronic diseases because they are evolving out of the genetic basis of existence. So whenever the genetic basis of existence comes, the so-called conventional medicine is finding helpless. That is what exactly happening in corona today. So the basis of biological basis of biomolecular medicine, we know that it is not the basis of strong scientific basis, but it is based on a report of Abraham Flexner in 1910. And it is further evolved with the fundamental philosophy of Cartesian as well as Newtonian physics, with its objectivity and predictability as the core. And later it is evolved with the Virchow cellular pathology and the bacteriological theories of Pasteur and Koch. But it was the icing of the cake was the discovery of penicillin, antibiotic by Alexander Fleming. But even then, it failed to contain even a single viral infection. Let me show you some interesting figures. You can just see this. In homeopathy, our Central Council of Homeopathy has recommended arsenic 30 as an immune booster for COVID virus, and millions of people around the world have taken it. And today, the Health Minister of Kerala, there was a TV interview, and there she said, wherever homeopathy was taken as an immune booster, the disease possibility was comparatively much less. And even if somebody had the COVID, they all got cured within 3 to 4 days. This is a statement of the Health Minister of Kerala yesterday. And I am coming to this point. Arsenic 200 something, which I have studied in the HR term 2014-16. 5 years back, I studied this drug as a part of my clinical, my fundamental research. And you can see the size of nanoparticle here is 5.08 to 17.0 71.09 nanoparticle. And these particles are much smaller than a coronavirus. The average size of coronavirus is close to 150 nanometer, whereas the small particles of arsenic album 200 is close to 5 to 10 nanometer. You can just imagine. So that this arsenic can be a modulator for immunogenetic modulator, or the electron charges of positive charges of arsenic trioxide and the negative charges of coronavirus may be interacting factor to control the viral infection. And so it may be working in multitude of ways. We are not sure about it. We need the freedom to study about that. So another drug I am just showing, just for your curiosity, is a calcareous carb 1M. See the particles, and these particles are 101 to 106 nanometer size. And carbovegetabilis LM12, you can see the particles. Natrum muriaticum LM1, you can see the particles. Naxvomica CM, our one of the commonly used drugs, see the particles in plenty in Naxvomica. And all this LM scale of potencies, I have to say thanks to Karthik for providing me the original drug material when I was searching for the solutions of 50 millismol for my analysis. He was kind enough to provide me with all this prepared in his laboratory. I thank him for his great contribution. So what is this meaning? We have seen two situations. One is homeopathic drug contains nanoscale materials close to atomic scale. We have seen that homeopathic drugs produces epigenetic modifications. So when you connect these two things, we are very sure that we are going to the close to the point. So homeopathy offers an alternative model to the conventional biomolecular medicine as far as natural diseases are concerned. Again, I am telling why this is important, because human system is managed at nanometer scale. Whether it is DNA, RNA, or hormones, enzymes, receptors, whatever it is based on nanometer scale devices. So we better to call homeopathy as a personalized nanomedicine. Why we are calling homeopathy as a personalized nanomedicine? That is a paper I have requested all of you to read from British Homeopathic Journal. Because the concept of totality in homeopathy, every practitioner extracts mental, physical and constitutional features from every patient. Whether it is coronavirus or it is a cancer, we have this system. Mental, physical and constitutional features we take. What are these features? Every important expression in the mind or physical or constitutional level are basically rooted in DNA, basically rooted in the genetics of the individual. Therefore, homeopathic individualization is a way to sketch the genetic blueprint of the person by using individual expressions. And this is based on proving signs and symptoms. So homeopathy can be better termed as a personalized nanomedicine, and that aspect of homeopathy is more relevant. We should understand that every practitioner and student of homeopathy should understand that we are dealing with a subtle, more deeper and more better science to heal the human beings. And what are the fault lines we are seeing? Fault lines we are seeing is the general frame of science has some problems. We are always thinking why homeopathic research is not going up to the level, or homeopathic research is not getting appreciated. Whenever you come with the result, people are looking at with skepticism, and even a good result will be termed as an impure result. Like that, so many negatives are coming up. Why? Because the frame of science, which is there in the mind of every scientist or the population of human beings, is based on Cartesian model of mind and body parallelism. Cartesian model of mind and body parallelism segregate mind and body as separate entities. You treat the body for the diseases of the individual organs and you treat the mind separately. Whereas in a holistic system like homeopathy, we consider the whole individual as a single unit. Therefore, we look at the mental features, physical features as well as constitutional features. Therefore, this current model of science based on the Cartesian philosophy and Newtonian model, which is the basis of conventional medicine, is on the edge of failure, and that failure is visible and starking, and it is glaring in front of us with this pandemic of coronavirus. And that is why the situation leads to microorganism based approach or the virus based approach in the COVID-19. And this virus based approach leads to a hunt for vaccines. And today's New York Times, the main heading, New York Times newspaper, the main heading was race for coronavirus vaccine pits spies against spy. Race for coronavirus vaccine pits spy against spy. And here they mentioned about United States of America, China and Russia. Their spy agencies are working full time to leak the information from the other country to go first and give the vaccine and make more money. This is what I mentioned here as vulture capitalism in science. And that is scientific nepotism and rejection of all our possibilities. Homeopathy is one of the best possibility for coronavirus, but this is rejected, not by the local governments. It is rejected by WHO at the top level. And what the WHO said from day one onwards was misleading. And the guidance given to every individual nation, 196 nations on the earth and their states, which is a flow of information, flow of strategy, flow of protocol from top to bottom, is purposefully kept away the other possibilities of viral infection treatment like homeopathy, which has shown immense result in every earlier viral pandemics in history, including our viral infections in the 10 years back, our dengue fever, where hundreds and hundreds of people got completely cured with homeopathy, which homeopaths were very proud of. And we are being bombarded with fear mongering through the media 24 hours. And the media people, maybe they are ignorant about it or they are complacent about what is going on in the against the public health interest. And this is a problem where the freedom of people are being killed in the process of treatment. And this is a major attempt to tamper on with the fundamental democratic right of human beings to choose what they want. And we are being asked to take which is unproven, absolutely unproven. Homeopathy is an advanced medicine for future. Why I say homeopathy is an advanced medicine for future? Because the COVID-19 in the last 9 months has shown us it is not going to abate soon. And it has already cracked our health system completely, and it has already broken the backbone of our economy of every nation, and it has created a huge social and political shift. And the question of credibility of the current conventional medical system is completely tarnished, because whatever the protocols are given day by day, it is getting changed and nothing is effective, and forcefully it prevents others to do anything either in research or in the treatment of COVID. It has to change. So we are bracing for the new realities of existence. So the disintegration of Cartesian dualism in human health model is a high necessity for the advancement of human health for the future. Therefore, a new health model has to evolve, which is not suppressive of the immune system, whereas which will be supporting the immune system. So homeopathy for the last 200 years supported the human immune system to prevent the diseases and to cure the diseases. Therefore, we are in the edge now for a change, and that change is imminent, and we have to go for advanced research in immunogenetic modulations of homeopathic drugs in each diseases. I am very sure in the last 6 months, more than $10 billion have been spent for research by various governments to find out a vaccine. More than 10 billion. If $1 million is provided for homeopathic research in immunogenetic level, with the patients allowed to take homeopathic medicines, I am 100% sure within few months this pandemic will be completely under control with proper science. We are looking for an opportunity for that, and we don't feel disheartened. We are looking for every opportunity which will be opened after and during this COVID season. And I wish everybody a good health and a good time ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajendran. That was amazing and as incisive as it can get. And I hope this kind of shakes up the authorities to uh, give more heat to homeopathy, to pump in more funds for homeopathic research, especially in the COVID era. And
Yes.
nobody could have put it better and more clearly than you in this current situation. Thank you so much. And I think what you have proposed through your study on nanotechnology and homeopathy will go a long way in explaining the mode of mechanism of homeopathic ultra dilutions, because that so far has been the most gray area regarding homeopathy. Because as a therapeutic modality, as treatment options, people are making it a very, very popular system these days. Unfortunately, this is the only area where we have been on the defensive until now. And I hope that your research work will pave the way for making homeopathy a very, very scientific and rational system of medicine. Thank you very much for coming on this panel and sharing your amazing views. Thank you very much.